Hey there guys, Portal Master here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about an important point that I need to make about these recent Skylanders rumors/leaks that was highlighted especially by a tweet that was made by our resident Twitter leaker that was like a week or so ago now about how whatever this new Skylanders game would be, it would be some type of a reboot. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a 2-minute video on it right here where basically it's just a single tweet of our Twitter leaker saying, yeah, I've gotten, information about the Skylanders reboot, and it's basically what's led me to having the most surge in followers. Please stop DMing me for details about the Skylanders game. So essentially that's what this video is addressing. Now, a longtime friend of the channel, Cosmic Dragon Gaming, made a really great post on Twitter that went on for quite some time and is basically going to be saying the same things I'm saying in this video. It's what really prompted me to make this video. I'd been thinking about it before he posted it, but this is what really prompted me to make this. And I felt like he deserved a shout out. Whatever this new Skylanders game is, I'm going to keep calling it Skylanders 7 because that's fundamentally what it would be. It would be the 7th Skylanders game. But in reality, it's not going to be like a true sequel to Skylanders Imaginators. And this is, again, assuming that the rumors are real. Again, all these rumors could be false, the Twitter leaker could be lying, her sources could be wrong, we may not be getting any type of new mainline Skylanders title. But if we are, don't expect it to be like the logical follow-up to Imaginators. Now, I recently made the 8th video in my brief history of Skylanders series where I talked about what was originally planned to come after Skylanders Imaginators. Essentially, what was planned was an Imaginators 2 or an Imaginators Year 2. Essentially, they were just going to add new types of Imaginators, new battle classes, new ways you could make them, and that was essentially going to be the extent of the new content that came in the sequel to Skylanders Imaginators. And if you actually fundamentally look back at Skylanders 1 through 6, you'll notice that fundamentally, there's not a huge difference between each title. Trap Team and Superchargers are probably the two most different titles from the rest of them. Trap Team just because it's got the trapping mechanics of the villains, and then Superchargers obviously because it has the huge sections of vehicular-based combat. But all the other games are by and large the same, especially when it comes to the actual ground-based combat. The combat itself doesn't change very much throughout the game, even though you go from the Giants to the Swap Force to the Trap Masters. Fundamentally, it's pretty much all the same. Whatever this Skylanders title is, it's been 4 years at this point, and probably 5 years by the time this game could come out, even at the earliest, since the last Skylanders release. And I just can't see them sticking to the same formula as the original games. After all, sticking to the same formula of mainline combat is essentially what led to the downfall of it in the first place. You will probably know if you've been watching my videos, A Brief History of Skylanders, that Spyro's Adventure, Giants, and Swap Force all saw an increase of sales, and then Trap Team, Superchargers, and Imaginators all went downhill from there. So that essentially just tells me, they've got to switch stuff up. They have to change up the formula in whatever this new game happens to be. Whatever this new game is, it won't be a traditional sequel. It will be a reboot. To me, the Twitter leaker coming out and saying that the Skylanders game is a reboot of sorts doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't mean much new information to me. I only shared it with you guys because I thought some of you would find it interesting. I have always assumed that whatever this new title would be, it would be new, innovative, and unlike anything we had seen before in Skylanders. Again, assuming that it is real. Now, this could just mean, an overhaul of the Skylander system. We've heard that it's supposed to have GPS functionality along with Toys to Life. It could just mean, that there's some kind of new mechanic added where, there's like a companion app, which I've suggested before, like a companion Pokemon Go app, and that's the real innovation that adds to the game. Or it could be something much more drastic. Whatever the new Skylanders title is, it could be unlike the previous installments in that it's like a different genre almost. It could be a more competitive game. It could be, more of a traditional dungeon crawler rather than, whatever you want to class it as originally. It could be more like an RPG. There's really no telling what it could be. And I could especially see them doing more in-depth RPG elements since they really experimented with that in Superchargers and Imaginators with the character customization and the vehicle customization. I could really see them going for that. I mean, maybe they won't. Maybe they want to keep it, super duper simple for kids, but that is something I could see them doing. The point being, there's a lot of ways they could go with whatever the Skylanders 7 is, which is why when I see people speculate about this game, which I think is fine. It's fine to speculate, if it's real, what kind of gimmicks would they have? They're like, well, I think the new gimmick would be like, this is just a random example, a dual element character, like that'll be the gimmick. Characters with 2 elements. And like y'all, I hope you understand how basic of a concept that is compared to like what I'm talking about here. Like, dual elements is cool. I always wanted dual elemental Skylanders when this was a mainline, franchise, but that is so low scale compared to the things that I think they would do in this game. I think we would be looking at, brand new characters, return of some old characters, but brand new characters, redoing the way that we think about Skylanders. That's what this new game is going to be, if it's real. I also think that we have to prepare ourselves for the possibility that our old Skylanders will not work. This is a thing I also keep seeing a ton of, talking about whether or not old Skylanders will work. Here's the thing. I would like it if the old Skylanders worked, and I think there's a chance that they will, but I would not be surprised even in the slightest if they were not able to be used. And I think there's several reasons that we can say you probably wouldn't be able to use the old Skylanders in this game. And the number one reason is, well, it's impossible to get so many of these guys for a decent price. Okay, yes, you can go to a yard sale or a flea market and scoop up a bundle of Skylanders and get like 50 Skylanders for $100 or something like that. Like, you can get deals on these old Skylanders. That's not out of the question. But there's so many of them you can't get. Like, for instance, StarCast costs like $100 to get now, and like Chompy Mage is $200. It seems ridiculously unfair, to make a lot of these older characters usable when it's so difficult to get them. But at the same time, using the old characters would be, such a way to get old fans of the franchise back into it. Again, I imagine that a lot of people would probably be more willing to jump back into Skylanders if they saw, oh wait, you can use all your old characters. Well, I still have 40 of those old collectibles laying around. Let me jump back in. So at the end of the day, that's why I say I wouldn't be surprised either way. But I think that what's most likely is that your old Skylanders won't be usable all the way. They'll be usable to some extent, or it'll be like in the later games where it didn't show them in the collectible menu, something like that. The old Skylander functionality will not be in people's faces because it's so difficult to get so many of the old ones, assuming that the Toys to Life aspect returns, which according to what our Twitter leaker has said, there will be a Toys to Life experience somehow involved in this, and especially involving GPS functionality. Ultimately, it's really hard to say what would happen. I mean, especially when these rumors are not confirmed yet and we have so little information on them. I mean, if they're real and to be taken at face value, we basically know it's a reboot with Toys to Life. It's been under development for at least some time now, and it's got GPS functionality. And beyond that, we don't even know if it's a console game. I keep saying to people that while we do know for a fact now that this game is not Ring of Heroes, like, people that are trying to tell me still that this is Skylanders Ring of Heroes or is even tangentially related to it, I'm sorry, stop. It is not Ring of Heroes. I don't understand why there are people out there that still think that. There's so much evidence to the contrary. I just don't understand it. But it could still be a mobile game, especially when we hear about the GPS functionality. Now, I know a lot of people are probably quick to say, well, it could be talking about the Nintendo Switch. And I agree. I think that most likely it is somehow a Nintendo Switch game, especially since our Twitter leaker is a Nintendo-focused Twitter leaker. But still, we can't exclude the possibility that it could be a mobile game. We genuinely do not know. So basically, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope I did an adequate job at explaining why whatever this reboot is, if it's real, it won't be a true sequel to Skylanders. It won't be a Skylanders 7 in the traditional sense. It will be a 7th game, but not like what we would have expected. It would be a reboot pretty much no matter what. If it has any type of new functionality at all, I'm basically calling it a reboot, even if it picks up where the last games were story-wise. It's not like the last games really had that cohesive of a story anyway. This game was always going to be a reboot, and that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So, tell me what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Do you agree with what I said, or do you disagree? I mean, I understand if you disagree, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on the subject. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Go drop me a follow on both Twitter and Instagram, and you can join in the SkyTubers Discord down in the description below, which is a great place to hang out and chat with other content creators as well as just general fans of the Skylanders franchise. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. I just wanted to take some time to thank my generous patrons on Patreon, including APYT Skylanders, Haley, Cinderclash, Adrian, OctoBoom, True Blue Dogemon, and HypnoticOcelot.